All right, we'll call to order South Fayette Township Planning Commission meeting, July 23rd, 2026. And we'll start with a roll call, please.
Tom Iagnemma.
Here.
Doug Kaine, not present. Joseph Johnson.
Here.
Jamey Noland.
Here.
Danny Cerrone, not present. And also Jason Paulovich.
Here.
And Chris Seymour.
Here. Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have the next item is the approval of the minutes from our June 25th, 2026 meeting. Any questions or comments on those minutes? And can we get a motion to approve the minutes from 6:25?
Move to approve the minutes.
All right,
Second, either way.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Old business done? None. New business, review and discuss PP02 2026, Hastings Master Plan revisions, preliminary land development application, Mayview Road, Zone ND, neighborhood design. All right. Jason?
Sure, Tom, I'll jump into that. As you may recall, the Planning Commission recommended approval of this application, which is for revision to the master plan. It then went to the board, and the board denied the application. So the applicants have resubmitted. As far as the master plan is concerned, no changes to the proposed. We do have a review letter that is with regards to this application dated July the 17th. Comments are the same as what they were the first time. They're more clerical in nature and just statement type comments. Regarding this application, the request is to revise the existing 2016 master plan for this particular parcel, which is known as Phase 5 of Hastings. It was previously approved for a non-residential use, and under this application, they are requesting a residential use.
Which is not new. We've been.
Correct. This is as it was under the previous recommendation by the Planning Commission. I don't know, the applicants are here. I don't know if you want to speak, to this or perhaps explain why you do want to make the revision.
Yeah, and real quick before you get into it, and maybe you'll address this, or if you want to address this, just maybe a comment on how it went at the commissioners' meeting, if there was some particular item or a couple particular things that jumped out. Either way is fine with me, if how you guys want to address.
Yeah, I think if you were to, watch the replay or look or read the minutes, there's not a lot of depth there. Board didn't have a ton of discussion on it. I think they rejected for, multiple reasons.
Okay. Yeah, that's enough. I just kind of wanted to get a general idea if there was some one thing that they were particular about, or if it was just a general review and denial. So I got it.
No, I think there was, some of it was related to participation of the HOA previously and their dissatisfaction with the previous phases. So that might not have been the reason for the denial, but it certainly was on their minds, I think.
Okay. All right, and then if you want to comment on the revisions, or if there's anything you want to say related to that, that's fine too. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason and John. My name's Anthony Ferranda Diedrich. I'm with Charter Homes and Neighborhoods. I wasn't with the Planning Commission the first time the plan came through. David Heath, who's also with me with Gateway, handled those meetings, but I thought it would be important for me to be here just to explain kind of why we're back. And maybe what has changed since you first saw the plan. This plan, as Jason said, it's the same plan that had been recommended previously. And the next item on the agenda, which is the preliminary final plan for this phase, is again the same plan. that you would have seen and recommended previously. We did get to the board, go to the board after this meeting, and as John mentioned, the both plans were denied without really much explanation. My sense of things, as John had said, was that there was some discontent on the part of the neighborhood association regarding elements of earlier phases that had either not been completed or needed to be repaired. I personally have met several times now with the neighborhood association to understand what those concerns were and what the requests were around those prior phases, and have a good handle on that. There's a committee of folks at the neighborhood association level that care very deeply about the neighborhood, and so we've been meeting with a whole host of people to get that, what I would call, a punch list together. We have another meeting with those same folks on August 6th to finalize our punch list and then to commence the work that they've asked us to review as part of this request. So I don't think any of those folks are with us this evening, but they all have my phone number and we're talking regularly. So I wanted to offer that up to the Planning Commission as I think an element that is different from the first time that we were before you on these plans, over the prior months. Outside of that explanation, again, I'll just say the update to the master plan is the same as David would have reviewed with you previously. It's 24 homes. When the plan was initially approved 10 years ago, we had contemplated a non-residential use on the property. There was no specific non-residential use identified on the plan at the time, but it was just kind of earmarked for non-residential use. Over the last 10 years, the neighborhood's obviously almost entirely built out. All of the commercial spaces within the neighborhood are occupied currently. Very satisfied with that. And so again, we're just looking to finish out this last phase with what we think would be an appropriate use for the real estate that remains, given the market and where we're at in the life cycle of the neighborhood. And happy to answer questions about any of that the commission may have.
I have no questions.
So item A under new business is where we are now. So that's review and discuss master plan revisions, preliminary land development application. So we keep the agenda item says master plan revisions, but we're saying there are no master plan revisions.
Well, the revision in this sense is revising from non-residential
Okay, so that,
to residential. So
Okay.
that is the revision.
okay. And that's really,
And
I
obviously
should say
this
it that
ties
way.
into the next application
Yes,
because
okay.
if this one doesn't go through, it hinders that one.
okay.
And this is the recommendation we made before. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, with the previous
It just
application
never changed.
for
So
this.
the revision is because it didn't go to this before.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, both applications were opened and denied at the port level.
All right, anything else on A?
Jamie, anything from you?
No.
Okay.
All right, do we want to get a motion on item A for new business?
I guess I do have one question.
Sure.
Whatever the conditions were, because I think there were some specific ones about maybe it was utilities, under roads, or proximity of.
They're with the next one. Yep. Yeah, there are modifications that were requested and recommended for that one, but they are part of the next application.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about that.
Not,
on
not
this
with this
motion.
one. Correct.
All right.
So I think and I'm sure, make sure I understand that this motion doesn't bring forward any of those or negate any of those conditions. That's not even part of this. Will all be discussed in item B. I think that's what we're understanding.
Me too.
Okay.
Correct.
I make a motion to recommend for approval Item PP-02-2026 Hastings Master Plan Revisions Preliminary Land Development Application. Conditioned on
Second.
Gibson-Thomas Review Letter 7/17/2026.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And we'll move to B, review and discuss F03-2026, Hastings Phase 5, preliminary and final minor subdivision application, parcel 571A10, zoned ND neighborhood design. Project includes 14 single-family and 10 townhomes on one of the remaining developable parcels within Hastings neighborhood. All right, Jason, help us with this one, please.
Sure. So the Phase 5 application that you're looking at is identical to what you saw at the last Planning Commission meeting. You may recall that that plan at that time was submitted basically the day of that meeting. We didn't have a review letter that addressed, comments associated with this design. So when they came back in with these two applications after the denial at the board level, we did a review on the current design plan. Much of our previous comments were addressed without that recent submittal. I mean, obviously, there are still comments associated with this, and they're outlined in our letter. The other noteworthy item is we were still waiting on a geotechnical report at that time. They have since submitted that report. It's part of our review. There wasn't a whole lot to comment on regarding the geotech, but the geotech report is very inclusive, and it basically dictates protocol for all phases of development. It is developable. There are items that they're going to need to address, and things that they're going to have to contemplate during construction. There will be a geotech on site at all times. They'll have to take special provisions for footings and whatnot for all the structures, but it's not completely uncommon from a lot of development in our area.
Slope stabilization stuff, or just
It is. It's a lot of material related stuff and slope as
bearing
well.
capacity?
It is. And a lot of them had to do with provisions for footings, things of that nature, proof rolling for each building, things of that nature that you don't typically get into. With all development.
Who's a geotechnical engineer?
Garvin Bauer Beco.
Okay.
And we're familiar with their work. They're very good in the Pittsburgh area.
Yep.
Now there are, as you'd mentioned previously, Joe, there are modification requests as part of this application. I believe three of them, David, were identical to the previous application. And perhaps there's one additional one, but maybe you can elaborate on that one if you could.
Happy to go over those. Good evening, guys.
Will you refresh us on the other three also?
Yep.
Yeah.
Plan on going on the whole three of those, or the three existing. The first one was in reference to the length of the cul-de-sac. I believe it was the 500 is the max, and we're about 670. The second modification was related to the riparian buffer encroachment. So as you enter the site, that first turn, we have a retaining wall to hold up the road that has a slight encroachment into the 35-foot riparian buffer. The third one, which you've seen before,
About how many feet into it?
I think roughly
It's
10.
15.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
The third, which you are familiar with, is allowing utilities within the cartway. That is all in reference to changing from a private to public road. The fourth one, which is new, is associated with impacts to steep slopes. we have a steep slope exhibit a few sheets down, Abby, that highlights slopes that are greater than 40% right here. So it's a swath that runs right through the site. That swath is a stockpile of material, and not it's not virgin land. So technically, it does exceed the 40%, but that again is all stockpiled material and is addressed in the geotechnical report.
And that's the only area where you're seeking to impact 40%
Right. The stuff
Threshold.
along the stream there is down over the bank. We won't be touching that other than our outfall for our stormwater facilities. Along the northeastern part of that page, that wall is going to remain at grade. That's kind of right outside of where we have homes. So that is the new one.
and the geotechnical engineer, the township's consultant, is also okay with that?
Yes, we are. Yeah, we've reviewed the report and we're in concurrence with that.
Okay.
And Tom, if you're keeping track of sections of ordinance, the cul-de-sac street length is 215-74. The riparian buffer is 215-78C5. And
Utilities.
the utilities within the roadway is from the Township Standard Construction Details, section 5.6.2. And I can pull the steep
Yeah,
slopes.
the steep slopes is 215-39K.
Thank you.
14.
Yes, that's item 5 under Saldo comments in our letter.
Jason, I can provide a separate letter after the meeting.
Yeah, that would be helpful if you could. Thank you.
What utilities are going into the cartway? Is it everything or just runoff or something?
It'll be the storm, obviously, the sanitary, and the water.
Okay.
If you can go, I believe one up. Oh, actually, it's one down. Sorry. This is the utility plan. MATSF has a trunk line that runs right under the road. So we have to move our infrastructure that stay out of their easement and connect. And then we have to do that with the water too. Avoid being over top of that trunk line.
Yeah, that's what I was a little bit interested in. The water is it? Are you bringing a water line just to all the houses down the road, basically?
Right.
And you're not, just going right in the middle under the road. You're gonna.
No, there'll be separation requirements. We need to be at 10 feet, at least 10 feet away from the sanitary.
Okay.
So sanitary is dictating
And
where
then
it
you'll
goes,
move
has
around that.
precedence or priority, and then we offset one way or the other based on the available right-of-way left.
Is the main challenge with getting that out of the cartway the setbacks on the units?
No, it's really the geometry of the water line itself. Water line has to bend at certain
Okay.
degree bends or fittings, so that kind of dictates how it goes.
Bends or angles?
They're angles, yeah.
But they can only angle so much, right?
Right. And we're coordinating with the water company. We've already received our HOP for the water connection. We have not finalized the water design. They're waiting on the gas. They want to see the gas design and electric. Typically, we would have gas and water close to one another and then electric on the other side. Now that would just fall within the right of way outside the cargo.
So the power company doesn't have a plan for it yet?
No, they're still working on it after a couple months. We recently got the gas though.
Anything else on these? I had another topic to move to.
I do not have any other questions about these.
Okay. What's the latest on the trail connector? Is it, I recall in the last version, we talked about potentially road access there also. Is that still being maintained, or is it something different now?
So the current plan takes into account collapsible bollards. We're going to add one more per Gibson-Thomas's letter to make the spacing a little tighter to prevent people from using it daily. But yes, it's in the same exact location as previously presented.
Okay. And then Jason, is it feasible that is usable for emergency access?
It is.
Based on the grade, based on width, based on any other thing that we can't really see there? Okay.
No, we're comfortable that an ambulance or other, smaller emergency vehicle could definitely utilize that.
And then while we're talking about trail, anything changed since the last discussion about sidewalks?
No.
At least anything material change?
No, I guess one material change is we just slid the location of the mailbox cluster. It's really I would say the largest, most significant change.
Somebody on the staff side review that? That's usually a hot topic these days.
Yes. Right where the alley starts, right there. It used to be up in the cul-de-sac, but to get the lead walk to some of those units, working with some of the grades and recommendations for fill or cut slopes from the geotechnical report, we had to push that a little further out. And then when we did that, we kind of ran out of space for it there.
One item I wanted to bring up is, so that alley, since we're on that topic, ends in essentially a dead end. There is an ordinance provision for dead end streets shall not be permitted unless requirements of subsection E or F are met. There is a provision you can place a bump out in that area.
Does that even apply? I don't want to interrupt you, but if it's relevant, does that even apply even though that alley is considered private?
It does apply, Tom.
Okay, go ahead, finish your thought. I'm sorry.
And we have discussed this, and I think the thought is to provide signage at the entrance to that to prevent like delivery vehicles and things of that nature to go in there, because there is rear access to these units, or from sidewalk and whatnot. But I did want to alert you to that comment as well.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. I did forget to bring that up. There was a bump out there, and we took that away based off of the geotechnical recommendations not to cut in that area. And so the basement floor of those townhomes will be used as a retaining wall to hold up the slope. What we had proposed to Jason is to add a no delivery sign at the front of that. The fronts of these homes are where those sidewalks are located. So per the definition of a service street, which is classified as an alley, it's a secondary means of access to a use. So we're saying primary access would be to the front, deliveries would be to the front, pedestrian access or for personal use or pedestrian vehicles would be. We do have an extension of the alley. So backing up out of your garage, you certainly have that room. It's just not bumping that paved area 20 feet towards Mayview.
That front and back designation is consistent with a lot of the rest of the community, isn't it?
Correct.
I think, but I could be wrong. All of the other ones though do have
Not dead
The main
ends.
road is
An
public
alley
to the
with-
cul-de-sac.
You mean another
road
one
to
on
the
that
town
side?
is private.
if you were in another phase of the plan.
Right, those 5 units have a front to only a sidewalk is where you're going.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's
I think
another
that's
The 5 units
I think,
on the north side of the alley have sidewalk access to the front,
Yeah,
not
that's
street access.
correct. They don't have a street in front of them. I'm not sure if it's
so
grass or
what
a
is
hill
considered
or
the
what.
front of this building? That?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got you. So when you said delivery to the front, I think that's what you said, right? Delivery to the front, that means
Come sit on the
they're
cul-de-sac
walking
and go
to
over there.
Yeah, so-
through the sidewalk. I got you.
For that, for the example in the cul-de-sac, Amazon pulls
Park on the
up,
sidewalk.
drops off. If they have a dolly or whatever, they can go right up the sidewalk.
And I think, David, what we were talking about was obviously the entrance having signage to not allow delivery vehicles.
Yep.
Right, they would have to park here, deliver to the front there, or deliver this way. Do you have any situations like that in the existing phases?
The one that comes to mind is in phase 3. I think there's a couple 4-unit loft style where they're back to back, where there's a dead end. It has alleys on both sides, but the one is a dead end. Perhaps it would be helpful to go to the grading plan. I believe this is one down. Yep, right there. So you can see at the end of the alley there,
Okay.
it projects up at 3-to-1, which is per the recommendation to keep that slope stable. So if that were to be there, we would be cutting into it and having conversations with it. It would, the temporary construction from bottom up construction practices for the wall would make that area temporarily unstable.
You should be pretty close. Right?
I did, or he did, but I don't know if once he found out it could be on the phone, he could be home for dinner too. I don't
You
know.
still with us, Jamie? How are you?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any additional questions.
Anything else we're going to get into, Jason?
No, I just wanted to ask David or Anthony, do you have any issues with any of the other comments within our letter? I mean, a lot of them, again, were administrative or clerical, other than the technical ones that we spoke of.
No, I don't. No.
I mean, the entrance road does require a PennDOT permit, and it's our understanding you're working through the PennDOT process as, you know, I mean, it's obviously not a requirement to have that at time of approval, but there is the need to have that.
So just one point there, the new clear path procedure for PennDOT, they won't issue a permit until we get township approval, which further complicates the issue.
Sooner or later, the DEP and the DOT are going to go at it. See who gets to go last.
They'll have to walk across the hall and talk to one another.
when you received the geotech report, was there anything in there that, made you rethink this, or, that makes it financially, undesirable to develop it the way that you have planned?
I don't necessarily think so. I mean, from a cost perspective, I don't know. Anthony may be able to provide more information there, but it is planned. Certain compaction, would say suggestions or recommendations. This is near a stream with alluvial material. Sometimes no desettle, so that's why there's recommendations on how to treat those foundations before they get installed to prevent differential settlement. And that's mainly the stuff below, say, that trunk line below the road. As you go towards the cul-de-sac, that's how do we treat the stockpiled material from previous phases. Unfortunately, that wasn't really put in very tight when it was, so it has to be rehandled and worked properly to get the compaction and the grading that we have shown on the plan.
Anything else? Yeah, anything? So before the motion, I'll mention, similar to the comments I made the last time we reviewed this, I'm still not in favor of this plan, primarily based on two things. One, I still don't think it's really consistent with what the overall master plan intent was. And then beyond that, even with the change to this being the usage of this phase 5 changing, I still think it's too much density for the developable property in this phase 5. So again, I'm not going to get into specifics of it, but that's generally my thought. So I'm not going to be in favor of approving this. With that said, do we have a motion we want to make?
Yes, I'll make a motion to recommend F03 2026 Hastings Phase 5 preliminary and final major subdivision application for approval with modifications of the cul-de-sac length from up to 670 feet, and that being section 215.74. Encroachment on the riparian buffer of up to 15 feet, and that is section 215.78C5. And for utilities to be allowed under the pavement modification from Township Construction Standard Detail 5.6.2. And to allow development on steep slopes of man-placed material areas. And that modification from section 215.39.K. All conditioned on Gibson-Thomas review letter dated 7/17/26.
All right, very good. It was kind of a
Second.
all right. So we got a motion and a second. So it was a long motion, good clarifications. That all was consistent. Yeah. Okay. And all in favor? And can we do a roll call vote, please?
Tom Iagnemma,
No.
Joseph Johnson,
Yes.
Jamey Noland.
Yes.
So we have 3 quorum and 2 in favor. Is that motion carries? All right, motion carries. Thank you. All right, we're going to move to new business C. Review and discuss proposed ordinance. We have an ordinance of the Township of South Fayette, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 240 zoning, Article 4, R1 Rural Residential District, Section 240-16, amending its zoning ordinance and adjusting the R1 rural residential district minimum lot width requirement, amending the township's official zoning map to adjust the PED district boundaries and to change an existing residential area in Sturgeon from commercial zoning to residential zoning. So again, this is for reviewing and discussing this proposed ordinance. So we have an ordinance draft and proposed maps.
Yeah, this does require change to the zoning map as well for the two rezonings.
And is one of these rezones the conceived potential data center?
No,
Okay.
no, the zoning ordinance itself in terms of uses and whatnot has not changed. So they're currently not defined in our zoning ordinance. This does not address that.
Okay. Nothing in this addresses
It does
the
not.
potential for data centers.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think maybe going back as far as 6 or 7 months, I'm not sure of the date, but we did present a draft ordinance to you that did that, Joe. And I think the board had some additional discussion, wanted to include additional regulations. So the thought was to not necessarily tie these two together, but to make them separate.
That's probably good.
Yeah. So these were stripped out of that.
Okay.
So in terms of process, we shared this with you last month, back again, hoping for a recommendation. We do have a public hearing scheduled for August the 12th. We gave notice to property owners impacted by the rezoning. And
When did those go?
Last week.
If you don't know exactly, the follow-up question is, have you heard anything yet?
we have not heard from people that received a letter letting them know that, this property in proximity is changing. We have had discussions with the property owners involved just to, kind of make them aware of our process and invite them to the hearing as well. So that did occur.
So with this type of zoning change, and I'm talking specifically around Sturgeon right now, I think that's where we are. Does that notification go to property owners and or adjoining?
It goes to adjoining property owners as well as to the property in question.
Okay. So not just the red got the notifications,
yeah.
but everyone adjoining the red.
What's the radius? Do we know how far that has to
I
go
believe
out?
it's 300 feet.
Oh, so it could be more than just adjoining.
Oh, right. Yeah, we do a circle around
Okay,
it.
I thought it was just adjoining. Okay,
Correct. Yeah.
all right.
And we'll post the properties as
Yep.
well, so it's visible when you drive by.
So sticking with this particular item, the Sturgeon rezoning.
Sturgeon rezoning, there are those smaller parcels that are
The green ones.
red parcels. No, I think the green, are they the green ones that are
The green is commercial.
Yep.
Yes.
existing commercial? And residential all around it, residential neighborhood. The parcels around those green ones are residential in use. The owners of the parcel of the property, I think there was one owner who has gained ownership of a few of these lots and wants to build one a home or a small number. I think it's just one home, to be honest, but couldn't because of the zoning. So it does seem to be, kind of an oversight, quite honestly. I know that there are some commercial establishments in the area, but the parcels that we're talking about really could not accommodate any type of commercial development. So they would be rezoned to R1 or R4 rather to match the neighboring properties.
So if I looked at the existing zoning map, the green that I see on that would be green for commercial on the existing zoning map, right?
Correct.
And everything in red would also be green on the existing zoning map.
Correct.
And do you happen to know, are they all C1 today? We say commercial, but are they all C1?
Yes.
I think
Yes.
so. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. And
The other components of it, the other rezoning is PED rezoning. This is the paintball facility, if you will. And it's currently zoned R1.
I think I know where that parcel is because they've got a lighted billboard up in front of it.
Right. It does make it easy to spot.
Okay.
So, we looked at through our comp plan and other, discussions of the impact of the Beltway, rezoning properties for commercial or non-residential use was referenced in the comp plan. We looked at properties throughout that corridor, but really wanted to focus on properties that had access to the highway, and didn't think it would be good to, start with larger swaths of rezoning where properties that have limited access would have to develop in a non-residential way. So this was kind of the first step at it, so to speak. Most likely, if that parcel were to develop through the PED, then it might open up that opportunity for surrounding properties, and we might come back at a later date to expand that PED district. But we're taking kind of a more measured approach and starting with just one property that is of size, of scale, great access, and definitely suited for non-residential use, and the PED lines up well with it. Understanding within the PED, there still could be a residential component of it, just would have to be a mixture of uses.
Mhm.
And then lastly, the third leg of this is just language modification to the R1 zoning district, increasing the minimum lot width from 110 to 125 feet.
Remind me, okay, it says right there, that's the one with public sewers. So the one without stayed the same?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty minor. It was included in that larger ordinance and pulled out for this one. But, I think the board had expressed an interest in, looking at our zoning ordinance over the last couple of years and making some adjustments that have resulted in just higher density housing. They modified, eliminated the open space provision outside of the PED districts. And this kind of is maybe a second step to that, to still permit, obviously the R1 district to develop residentially, but would likely be larger homes and less dense housing plans. So we've rolled them together into one ordinance. Yep. We do have a hearing on the 12th. We have not received comment back from the county, but may have that back in time for the hearing. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to do my best to answer them.
I'm good. All right.
I can't help myself. I think the third one is inconsistent with the comp plan of the township.
So let's be clear, section 3, sturgeon zoning.
No, the last piece
so
regarding
that was section 1.
Okay, the lot width.
Oh, that would have been section 2. Okay.
Yes.
So say your comment error interrupted you.
No, I believe that's inconsistent with the township comp plan that HRG prepared. Their number one recommendation was that we work on a diversity of housing types, as well as advanced commercial. So I think the PED piece, I love the commercial piece with the residential down in Sturgeon. I think it's perfectly appropriate to correct that. I just think this one is inconsistent with the comp plan, and My 15 feet. It's just
Yeah. Well, I don't think I disagree with you, but I mean, this is only for the R1.
Correct.
So R2 and R3
Yeah.
stay the same. So
Yep.
that takes a little bit of bite out of it, right?
Yep,
Okay.
it does for sure.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I see your point. Good thought. Okay. Anything else on the review and discuss proposed ordinance?
That's it.
So again, it'll all be one thing. It'll all get,
Yeah, it's
Motion
a
together.
Single ordinance.
Right,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah.
all right. Move on to item 7
Well,
on,
I know we've maybe listed as discussion item.
we need to motion that.
We'd like to get a recommendation. We do need to bring a recommendation to the board.
Okay, so I think we're going to look for a motion to recommend approval or recommend some movement. Just recommend approval?
Yeah.
That would be
Good.
my
Good.
motion.
Yep, go for it.
I'll make a motion that the planning commission recommends the ordinance proposed by the township at this time. Does it already have a number?
I believe we've
It
assigned.
doesn't have a number yet.
It's gonna be ordinance 4, but I don't know.
26-004.
I would say leave it blank. Just in
Okay.
case.
One way or another, the proposed ordinance before us this evening, I make a motion that the planning commission recommend it for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right. Item 7, acceptance of applications. Anything pop in?
Nope.
Open discussion.
What are you guys going to do on the fourth Thursday next month?
What do you mean? What's is
We
it?
won't have a meeting because there's
Oh,
nothing for acceptance.
Maybe you'll get the master plan back after the board rejects it.
All right.
Open discussion. Open discussion. Open discussion.
Nothing here.
Nothing.
Good. I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.